So we started with actually the second example on your linear inverses paper, and now we're looking at the first example. So f of x equals, we've got 3x plus 5 divided by 6. So remember, first thing that you can do here is instead of having an f of x, have a y. Okay, so all I did, you guys should know this, we switched the f of x, we turned it into a y. Okay, so now remember for our inverses, we've got to flip-flop the x and the y. That's my next move. Okay, so instead of an x, or instead of a y, excuse me, I'm going to have an x. Then over here, instead of an x, I'm going to have a y. So 3y plus 5 divided by 6. Okay, so nothing's changed. I've just flip-flopped the x and the y. Okay, so now remember, like I mentioned in the last video, once you switch the x and the y, you've got to solve for y. The y has to be by itself. So similar, so like last time we started with the constant on the end, and I said start with the thing that's furthest away from the y. In this case, the 6 isn't even on top with the y. It's completely on the bottom, so we're going to start with that 6, okay? So this 3y plus 5, it was divided by 6, right? Because the fraction symbol means that it was divided. So in order to get rid of this 6, we do the opposite of division, which is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply this side by 6, which means I have to multiply this side by 6, right? I'm just using my dots for multiplication, okay? So I multiplied this side by 6, I multiplied this side by 6, okay? The 6's cancel then, so I'm left with 3y plus 5 over here. On this side, I've got 6 times x. I'm just going to write that as 6x, okay? Remember, getting the y by itself. Keep remembering that. Okay, now we're going to look at this 5. Similar to what we did in the last example. It's furthest away. 3 is right next to the y. I'm going to go with this 5. It's being added. So to undo that addition, we do the opposite, which is subtraction. Subtract my 5 from each side. I've got 6x minus 5 over here. Remember, you cannot combine 6x minus 5. They aren't like terms. This 5 doesn't have an x, so it's got to come down by itself. Then on this side, we're left with that 3y. So I've got 6x minus 5 is equal to 3 times y, right? They're being multiplied. So now we've got one more thing to do. We've got to get rid of this 3. It's being multiplied by the y. So obviously the opposite of multiplication, it's going to be to divide. If we divide this side, remember, we've got to divide this side. Okay, 3's cancel. Finally, I've got y by itself. So over here, I've got 6x minus 5 divided by 3. Okay, now in some cases, you'll see it left like this. Our final inverse would just be 6x minus 5 over 3. However, okay, we got to go one step further because 6 is divisible by 3. Okay, so I know 6 is divisible by 3, so I can rewrite this. This might help as 6x over 3 minus 5 over 3. It's the very same thing. I know I've got 6x over 3, and I've got this negative 5/3 or minus 5 over 3. Okay, now I know 6 is divisible by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. That leaves me with 2x. Okay, so I just did 6 over 3 is 2x. I can't simplify 5/3. That's as simple as it'll go. Okay, so I'm going to just leave that as negative 5/3. So I've got y by itself. That was my end goal, right? I'm done. I now know the inverse of my original function is 2x minus 5/3. Done.